All right, if you haven't already opened the Google Doc that's titled DE Fall 24 Concourse Syllabus Template for Notes, please do so, because you're going to want to bounce back and forth and have that open as you do this process. I don't have a dual enrollment course to show you specifically on, so we're going to have to make do with my college course syllabus to build for the semester. And so we're going to look at a Bio 182 syllabus. Okay, yours will look similar but a little bit different, just because there are certain things that, if you're not in biology, are not going to show up on your template, and because it's dual enrollment and not at the college, there'll be some minor variations as well, and that's why I need you to have the Google Doc open as well, the Google Slides. So once you're into your Canvas course, and those instructions are in that handout, you're going to go to Concourse Syllabus. It will generate like this, and in this form, you've got some pretty standardized stuff, but you cannot do any editing. So along the top here, you have some different options. You're going to click Syllabus and then Edit. Okay. So if you can't find a syllabus, or if you do not have the option to edit, you're likely in a prior semester course, and you want to ensure that you're in the correct course. Anytime that you see this pencil, you can make edits. So these pencil icons inside the yellow boxes, that's where you have an editable section. If you have a section, and I'm just going to scroll to show you one really quickly. This section, for example, on course description and competencies, you'll notice that there is no pencil. That means that these sections are not editable. Okay. The other part about these is that you have what's in white, and then in your syllabus, as you're editing it, you'll see stuff in yellow box, stuff that has a yellow background to it, and that yellow background is information that will not show once the syllabus is published. So this is notes for you, things to help guide you as you're building your syllabus. There's even instruction here at the bottom. Don't forget to remove the orange highlighted at the top, because if you don't and you publish it, your students will see this orange highlighted syllabus in progress. So anything in white with a white background, students will see. Anything with a yellow background, students will not. And when you're ready, you can just come in here and edit this out. See? Now, interesting thing, if you do not hit save, the blue save button, Concourse, the syllabus doesn't know to save what you just did. So if I forget to hit save and I just cancel out of here, this remains there. Okay? All right. Instructions for that are also in your handout. We'll scroll down. Meeting times. Any section that is required you'll know that it's required. The statement above is a placeholder. You can replace it with more specific details or a way that you want it formatted if you don't like the table. But essentially, this is when students need to be able to find you. This is when they meet for their dual enrollment course. Instructional contact hours, I have 2 on this syllabus. I'm going to scooch past this one because it's specific for biology, and I'm going to get to the one that's going to show up on your syllabus. And these are the instructional contact hours. This is a required section for your syllabus. It's required from an HLC perspective and also from the aspect of transfer credit for students. If our students are going to transfer to an in-state four-year institution, we have those agreements already in place. It's typically a non-issue, but let's pretend that we have a student who wants to transfer to BYU or wants to transfer to the first national institution of higher learning in Saskatchewan, for example. They're going to want a copy of this syllabus, and they're going to want to know the instructional contact hours. So you're going to do this. You're going to click on this Google Doc link right here. You're going to come to a dynamic document, a living document. It's going to talk about credits and periods, and what you're really after is this information down here, the instructional hours, right? And you're like, well, how do I know if my course is a 2-credit, 2-period, or a 6-credit, 6-period at the college? And that's pretty simple as well. We've got this link to curriculum.maricopa. You're going to go there. Let's put in a course, ENG 101, and enter. You'll notice there's a bunch of options down here. You want to ensure that you choose the one that says current right here. You don't want one that ended in summer of 23. You want what's current, and then you're going to come over here and click first year composition, or whatever the name of the course is that you've searched, and you're going to see that this is a 3-credit, 3-period course. It's a 3-credit, 3-period. So I'm going to come back to our table. We're going to find 3-credit, 3-period. Okay, now what you see is you see instructional hours. Those would be classroom hours. You're going to see additional time, and you're going to see total. Those numbers should add up. 40 plus 96 is 136. Pretty simple math. At the college, we have a different meeting pattern for our students. We don't meet with them Monday through Thursday the way many of the high schools do. Or we don't have them 3 days one week and 2 days the next week, or however it works at your high school. So what I want you to focus on is I want you to focus on this 136 for this one. And I want you to go between your course time, the time that they're in class working on dual enrollment college content. I don't want you to count the content that's for AP and not necessarily for dual enrollment, or the work that's on grade level, right? We're talking about the college competency work, and between their class time and their outside class time, their homework, their study time, their reading assignment times, those sorts of things, over the length of the course. And for some of you that's semester and some of that's a year, they need to be accountable for 136 learning hours. The caveat here is that you don't log those hours anywhere. We don't track those hours anywhere. This is truly an honor system sort of situation, but we are asking that you do come close to that. So for instance, I have a 4-credit 6-period. I teach a lab science, and it's a 4-credit course, and it's 6 periods. If I were to go and look it up, and let's do that because it'll be a little bit different for you. Let's go pull bio. Let's actually just do 181 because that is a dual enrollment course. We're going to come here. You'll notice that it says lecture 4 credits, periods 3. And you're like, wait, you just said it was 6. It's 6 because of this lab period piece as well. So in those instances, you need a 3-period from the lecture, 3-period from the lab, add them together, you get 6. So this is a 4-credit 6-period. 4-credit 6-period, total of 272 hours over the course. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you're going to use that to write. And the easiest thing I know to do, and we've done this to try and make it easy for you, is to come up here and say, I teach a synchronous, so an in-person course. And I'm going to pull this language right here. I'm going to copy and paste it, and then I'm going to plug in these X's with the numbers that we have down here. Okay? So in my case, I have an asynchronous course. I would do a Command C or Control C if you're on a PC. I'd come over here. I would edit this section. I would come right here. I'd hit Enter. I'd Command V or Control V. And this course is equivalent to a 4-credit. We're conducting would be scheduled to meet for how many clock hours? So we would be scheduled to meet for, remember this was a 4 and 6, 80 clock hours. And students would be expected to commit at least, do you remember the other number? Because I've forgotten it, 192 additional hours. So please be aware that this equates to approximately 272 hours during the term. Remember, I want to hit save. And now it reads like this. And that section is done for me. Just going to scroll through and make sure that I've gotten everything off my trainer that I wanted to. Great. Scrolling through, you won't even see this section because you don't have learning communities, so you won't have this section on yours, but you will have contact information. And so in this section, you are required to put in your information. This is how you want students to reach you. You can go ahead and click Edit. And you can freeform type. You can click and edit here, and it'll pre-populate. If you want to fill these in, and then it will pre-populate into a format for you. So you have two options there. You also want to include support hours. When can your students reach you? When can they meet with you? Do you have an open section? Do you meet with them after school? What is their opportunity to seek you out and get information or assistance with their college content? Again, we've put in a sample statement. This is the one that we use for residential faculty. Here's one we use for our adjunct faculty. It doesn't have to be super specific. If you have specific times, certainly include them, but if you do not, please recognize that this is sufficient. This statement, regular and substantive interaction, is you can read about it here, but it's for fully asynchronous courses. We've got some sample verbiage here. You can copy and paste it. You can modify it, whatever works best for you. This communication policy section is also required. It's to give students an expectation, right? So if they message you in whatever system that you use to have them message you, they need to know that if they haven't heard back from you within, 24 hours or 36 hours, whatever it is you set for your policy, that they need to follow up. They need to try again, okay? So for me, I respond back within 24 hours between 8 a.m. on Monday and 3 p.m. on Friday. Outside of those hours, on weekends, holidays, days that the campuses are closed, I give myself 48 hours to respond. So whatever your policy is, that's what you need to tell them. Again, we're back to this section where you don't have a pencil, so you cannot alter this. These are your course competencies. If you've got questions about any of these, you're going to want to talk to your dual enrollment supervisor, because they can help you with managing these in the classroom. They can help you talk about assignments. How do I meet this competency? What does this competency mean, right? That's for your dual enrollment supervisor. The section on general outcomes, the general education outcomes, is here. And this is where you're going to see information regarding the assessment, your assessment project. So this is where we've previously talked about communication, critical thinking, literacy, personal development, and so there are formal and informal assessment activities that help to fuel that. And so again, this is a section you're going to want to speak with your dual enrollment supervisor if you're not clear on where your course is in the assessment cycle. Materials. This section has a whole bunch of excuse me, of questions that are typically tied to it for our dual enrollment structures. It is required. You do have to have a textbook or a book listed in some way. Perhaps it's a novel, it's a textbook, but there needs to be a reference point for students, even if you don't actively use that textbook in the class. So for my class, I use OpenStax Biology 2E. My students do not have assignments directly tied to that book, but they do have it as a reference material. If I had a book that cost them money, I would obviously tie assignments to it so they weren't wasting their money. But in the case of OpenStax, it is free, and I use it as a reference resource. I do, however, I do use another book as well, and that is a novel. It's not actually a novel. It's science literature. It's An Immense World by Ed Young, and so I include that in this area as well. You will not have this in yours, but you will have third-party learning tools. So I'm going to skip past this first one because we've tailored it for biofaculty at the college, and I'm going to drop down to this one. That is what you will see in third-party learning tools. This is a required section. You are going to need to edit it. Canvas is, and I'm going to hit edit so you can see. Canvas is required. That is the LMS for this course. And you can just use this table like any other and tab through to get additional rows if you need them. Okay. We do have a common third-party link. So any third-party tool that you use in your course, and here are some examples. Maybe you use Edpuzzle or Genially. Any part of Google that you use, Kahoot, Khan Academy, maybe you're using My Math Lab, right, or My Lab from Pearson. Any of those are considered a third-party tool. Turnitin is a third-party tool. WebEx is a third-party tool. Google Meet, which would be part of the Google G Suite. Any of those are considered third-party tool, and we are required by HLC to include terms of usage and accessibility statements. We have a bunch of them here that are pre-populated. If you've got something else you use, you can easily go to that website, in their search bar type terms of use and hit enter. Usually it'll take you right to their terms of use page. Same thing for accessibility. If you're struggling to find one, please reach out to the CTLA. They can help you. If they can't, please reach out to me at dualenrollment-aa@cgc.com, cgc.edu, and then I will try and help you. But you can copy and paste any of these. So in my course, I could copy Genially, right-click copy, or Command-C or Control-C, depending upon what you're using. And then I can bring it over here into my syllabus. I can hit enter, I can come here, and I can just paste it right into the table. Okay. The statement regarding generative AI is not required. I do recommend it, but again, this is your classroom and your ability to decide how you want to do it. We do have 3 suggestible statements here that you can use directly. Maybe your school already has one, or you're required to write your own. You're welcome to use one of these. My only recommendation is if you use the one for sum, you're explicit about what sum means. Does sum mean they can use it on an exam? Does sum mean they can't use it on an exam? What does sum mean? When can and can't they use it? And I think that's important just so students know the rules. They're not guessing about what sum does or doesn't mean. If you define it for them, and they know your expectation, and they know what to expect will happen with their grade if they don't meet that expectation. You do not have a section on dropout detective in your syllabus at all. Just going back to my thing, or the template. You do not have lockdown browser in yours. You do have this. So this is activating their Maricopa student email and applications. This is strongly recommended. Your students sometimes don't understand that their college credit is on a separate transcript. It's on a Chandler-Gilbert transcript. So if they're applying for transfer credit, even if their high school transcript says DE off to the edge, as some of you have adopted out there, that will not be sufficient for a transfer institution at this time. In the future, maybe. Currently, no. So the sooner we can get students into their Maricopa student email, the sooner they know about that, the sooner they have access. This is also the place where they'll receive emails from the college that are important to pay, to enrollment, to transcripts, to all sorts of things. So we do recommend it, but again, not required, as you can see right here. I do not believe the technology requirements is in yours. I think yours is next with grading. So you have this section on grade breakdown. This is a required. So grading practices are required. How to submit assignments is strongly recommended, and you don't have to lay out every single assignment, but letting them know that they're going to submit their math through my math lab, or that they're going to submit lecture quizzes through Nearpod or whatever, or if they're going to submit on paper and pencil through your LMS that you use on campus. Whatever it is that you're going to have them do, this is a good place to outline that for them. This breakdown is required. This is part of that transferability piece that accepting institutions need to know. In this area, I just put general things. So, and I actually alter this. I copy this table up into my section, but I alter it. I change point value to percentage of course. So I'll put weekly quizzes are, I can't remember what they are this semester. I think they're 30% of the course. Exams, unit exams, 35% of the course. Final project, 12% of the course. DBAs, so I do discussion-based assessments. DBAs are 10% of their course grade. And because I have that they can drop a certain number in certain sections, I put this as approximate. If you've got questions about that, your DE supervisor will be happy to help you kind of navigate through that. Okay. Course policies, any additional course policy, you cannot chew gum on days ending in Y in my classroom. No hats during exams could go here, that sort of stuff. Any course policy that's particular to your course, this is a great place to add it in. Attendance is another required section because this is a college course. You do have to set an attendance policy. There has to be a line in the sand of if you don't come to class, you don't earn a grade. Your attendance policy for a college course can be different than for the students who are in the classroom not taking dual enrollment, right? So in my course, they have 3 unexcused absences and at the 4th. So when I edit this, I take out this and I put in a 3, right? And then I also change it from red to black. Or sometimes I leave it if I really want to emphasize it, but accessibility says I change it. On the 4th unexcused absence, a student may, and this is a key word, may be withdrawn. Okay? How you set that up, 3 unexcused absences, or actually 4 unexcused absences in my course is 2 full weeks. They have missed class for 2 full weeks. Out of a 16-week semester, that's significant. If you're running a year-long course, yours is going to be different, right? Or even if you're running a semester course that meets Monday through Friday, they could be out sick with the flu for 3 days, right? So you kind of have to, you can set it as a percentage of course meetings, but you do have to put a policy in place. In order to, you do have to know the last day of attendance. So if a student is going to withdraw, if a student earns a D or an F, you do have to know the last, I think it's just the F, not the D. You do have to be able to provide the last day that they attend in classes when you submit the grade. Again, this is a biospecific, so I'll leave that. This is a laboratory safety. It's for a lab course. More lab stuff that won't affect the vast majority of you out there. Again, remember we're in my course for the semester, and that's why it looks a little bit different, because I am not actually a dual enrollment instructor. okay? I don't believe that you have a conduct section any longer, but you do have an institutional policy section. There's a section on grievance, academic dishonesty, those sorts of things, student responsibilities, and then the one that is very, very important is right down here at the end, and that is syllabus change. Do leave this in. If you have to alter your syllabus in the future, this is the statement that says, hey, I get to change the syllabus. And that happens, right? They fall behind, something changes, you move due dates, something's going sideways, and you need to add an AI statement to the syllabus. You want this in there so that you have the right to go ahead and change those things. I know this has been kind of long, at almost 30 minutes, and it's actually fast considering we spent a couple hours doing this and working together in the live sessions. I hope it's helpful. If you need assistance, your dual enrollment supervisors are there to help you. The CTLA is there to help you. Our Center for Teaching, Learning, and Assessment is there. They have drop-in office hours on campus at Pecos, which is at Gilbert and Pecos Roads. They also have, you can schedule an appointment online to meet with them, and they'll help you. And then I can help you as well. And you reach me at dualenrollment-aa@cgc.edu. Thanks.